Hello, welcome to today's video. In this video, we want to look at the difference between being and being. I have had to edit some manuscripts for some persons in the past, and I discovered that among many errors or many mistakes that people make, one of the aspects where they have a lot of challenge is when and how to use being and being. So in this lesson, we're going to study how to use being and being. Now, let's look at the board. Verbs have many forms, but among the different forms of a verb, these four parts are called the principal parts of the verb. They are called the principal parts of the verb because from these four parts, all the tenses of the verb can be created. The principal parts of the verb are the present tense, the past tense, the past participle, and the present participle. Now, this is the base form of the verb. That is the dictionary entry. When you pick your dictionary and you want to search for a word, this is what you're going to see. This is the past tense. This is the form that is used with the auxiliaries have, has, and had. And this is the ing form of the verb. The verb that ends in ing. The form of the verb that ends in ing is the present participle. Now, our focus in this video is on the past participle and the present participle. And with a special focus, of course, further down on being and being. Now, this is a special verb. If you look at the past tense of these other verbs, they have one word. I wrote the letter yesterday. We wrote the letter yesterday. You wrote the letter yesterday, the same form. I saw you yesterday. We saw you. We saw you. He saw you. She saw you. It saw you. But when it comes to this verb be, it has two forms for the past tense. And the form that you use is determined by the subject of the sentence. I was here yesterday. We were here yesterday. You were here yesterday. He was. She was. It was. They were. So this is the special status of this verb. Now, the past participle of the verb is a form that you use with the auxiliaries has, have, had, will, etc. All of these here, you use them with this. This is why we say, I have written, not I have wrote. We have written. He has written. She has written. I have seen. We have seen. He has seen. They had seen. I had seen. I could have seen. We could have seen. She could have written. I could have written. I should have seen. I should have written. All the auxiliary verbs here are usually combined with the past participle of the verb form. This rule applies to being as well. So anytime you see any of these auxiliaries and you want to use being and being, look out for these auxiliaries. If you see any of these auxiliaries in the sentence, you know that this is the form to use. For example, I have been here. He has been here. They have been promoted. I will have been promoted. He could have been arrested. He could have been. So anytime you see any of these auxiliaries, use this. Now for being, what applies to all these other verbs, this present participle also applies to it. I am writing a letter, not I am reading a letter. I am writing. He is writing. They are writing. He was writing. They were writing. The same applies to being. So anytime you see any of these verbs, I am being honest. He is being naughty. They are being naughty. He was being stubborn. They were being cruel. So whenever you see any of these, use these. You see any of these, use this. Now let me go back to this. Sometimes the auxiliary, any of these auxiliaries, may begin the sentence. Have you been invited? This is have. In as much as you have this auxiliary here, this is the form to use, not this. Even if the auxiliary begins the sentence. So, all of these auxiliary verbs go with this. All of these go with this. Now, a second point to note about this is that this can also function as a noun or as part of a noun phrase in a sentence. Let's illustrate this with examples. Sandra and Jane have been promoted. Sandra and Jane have been promoted. Now, Sandra and Jane, this is the subject of the sentence. Sandra has been promoted. Sandra has been promoted. Sandra is the subject of the sentence. So nouns function as subjects of sentences. Being too can also function as the subject of the sentence or as part of the noun phrase in a sentence. Look at this example. A human being has a soul. This is the subject of the sentence. So whenever you see these words and you want to use any of these and you see that it is functioning within the subject area, know that this is the part to use. This is the form to use, not this. Now, nouns also function as the object of the verb. I saw Sandra. This is the verb. It's an action verb. And the receiver of the action is Sandra. So this is the object of this verb. So nouns are used, they function as objects of verbs. Look at this. I saw, have been. Here, have been is functioning as the object of this. Nouns also function as objects of prepositions. Words like in, to, under, below, beneath, of, between, behind, under. All of these words are prepositions. The noun or the pronoun that follows the preposition is the object of the preposition. The book is for Sandra. This is a preposition. The noun that follows a preposition is the object of that preposition. This is one of the functions of nouns. This also performs that function. Jane was praised for, this is the preposition, being. So it should not be this. I believe that this video has resolved the challenge that many of our students and even workers have in the use of been and been. Once again, I want to thank you for your time. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I request that you kindly subscribe and also help to share this video. I believe it's going to be helpful to some persons out there. Once again, thank you.